Hey, welcome back. So this was pretty amazing, right? Well, I'll explain this later, so don't worry about it if you're not clear about it yet. It was just to show you. I want to show you something else because we need to start working with routing. I want to be able to click this button and go to the home page, click this button and go to a sign-in page, something like that. So we're going to try and figure out how to make routing in our application. Now, step one is to find a place to read about it. So let's go into Angular.io in the docs here, and then when you scroll down, there's an advanced guide over here in this side, and if I scroll down here, there's so many great things that we can do. Oh, so much fun. But what we're going to look at now is routing and navigation. So I'm picking that one, and Angular made some pretty awesome documentation on how we can make routing and navigation. So let's use that to get started. I'm going to make a few different changes here and there, but all in all, it's going to be pretty much the same thing that we're going to do. So let's start out. I just scroll down over the basics. I don't want that right now. So this is the first thing we need to do. To use routing, we need in the app module TS, we need to import a router that we can use for routing. So when I click the different links, different things will happen, right? So I'm going to copy this code and put it inside my code. And since it explained to go to the app modules and put it in here, that's what I'm going to do. Let me just add the hammer.js below like this. So now I have routes and router module installed from the Angular router module here. So these are two helper modules that I can use. Good. What's next? Let's just scroll down. So now we need to do some configuration, and they made a huge route path here. We're not going to make such a big one. We're just going to make it very simple here in the beginning. But still, let me just grab it here and show you how to do this. So I'm grabbing all of this code right here, and I'm going to paste that into my code inside this ng module here. This is just going to be a constant, meaning that it's something that won't change in the application lifetime, and it's going to be called routes, and then we're going to add a list of routes. Now, we don't have these components yet, so we have to make them, and we'll do that in the next couple of lessons. So right now, let me just write here, we're going to have a component for the path / login. We're going to make some kind of login component here, login component, and I'll have to make that to make this work. And I want one more component here, another path, which is just when we hit the / here with nothing in the end, we just want to go to the home component, right? So again, there are different ways to do this. This is the way I decided to do it, at least in these lessons. So we'll change it later because we want the login to be moved from here, but not right now. Good. So now we have the route ready, and we need to make these components, but now we have a routes ready to explain what will happen in the different, depending on what routes we are touching upon, right? Good. Back to the code. Now the next thing it says, you also need to tell the router module for the root of the application, for all the applications, we are going to use this path set whenever you hit specific things, right? So I'm going to add this final line here. And here are all the imports down here, right? So just like we did the material module, we're going to do the same thing now for our route module. So now we actually have routing up and running, but we don't have the home component, we don't have the login component yet, so we have to fix that. So what to do? I'm going to create those two components together with you right now, and then we can make them do something in the next couple of lessons. So step one, let's just make those two components right away. And we've already done this by writing ng, g for generate, component, that we want to generate a component, and then let's call this home, right? I'll do enter, and that's my home component. Let's see what happens. It builds my home folder, adds my components, and adds the home components to the app module. So it just popped up. If I refresh the app modules, you'll see a new home component popping up right here. Let's do the same for the login component. I'll do the same here. I'll call it login like this. I'll press enter, and again it builds my login component, adds it to the page here, and there we go. Now it also knows the login component. So now I have my path. Everything is set up. Beautiful. So we are ready to work with these components. Now it actually means that I'll go into the home component if I do a / and the login component if I do a /login. Let's try and see if it works. Going over to my code here, and it's loading right now, so something went horribly wrong. The path cannot start with /. Okay, so we did something wrong here. Let's try and have a look. Okay, so we shouldn't put in the slash. It should just be nothing and login like this. Let's try and save that and try again. See if it works now. It does. And let's clear this and refresh. We still get an error. So the error registers one more thing we need to do. And the last thing we need to do is actually, if I move down and I kept reading, which I should have done, of course, you can't just skip stuff. We need to add a router outlet inside our main page. Now this will destroy everything we've done so far, but let me show you what it will actually do here as the final thing, and then we'll end this video. If I go into my app component HTML where all this beautiful code has been made, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to delete it all and add this router module. So this, the app component homepage, remember that's our main page. As soon as we've started our Angular application, this is the main page. And the router outlet is kind of a place where every time I do a slash, it'll replace everything and look for something like this and just put it in there. So now if I save this, let's see what happens. So it finds, hopefully, home works now, because that's the path. If I do login here, I get the login page. Login works, right? So that's, it means that it doesn't matter now which router I choose, it'll take that page, that HTML. Let's look at the login page. If I do slash login, right here, slash login, it'll say, okay, I'll take the login HTML page, I'll grab every piece of information in here, and I'll put it inside this outlet. That's pretty much how it happens. We'll dive more into this, but now it's kind of up and running with at least 2 different links here, and we actually have routing up and running. It's that simple. See you next time.